Hello friends, and welcome back to our living room. Y'all, I have been hoarding Facebook Marketplace finds. I have just been collecting these over time. Y'all know how it goes. It's not the same as running to the thrift store, doing a haul type easy thing, right? I've just been keeping my eye out for these online, and over time, I've probably collected these over 6 months or so. Some of these are just for like daily use. Another couple of these are for projects that I'm going to be working on soon, and I'll share a little bit about those as well. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and I will share with you guys some of my marketplace finds. I'll tell you how much I spent on them, and we'll do a little bit of styling with these as well. You guys know that I'm not always great about doing that in my hauls, but I'm gonna try to be good this time. All right, let's get started. What makes Marketplace so awesome is that you can put in like a specific search term, and you don't have to go to the antique stores, you don't have to go to the thrift stores, you don't have to go to the big box stores. What you want and many things that you don't want will all come up in your search. What I have been so blessed by is that oftentimes I will have like a very specific need, and I feel like the Lord will just be like, here you go. At the very top of my marketplace results will be the exact things that I was looking for. And that is the case with this bookshelf. Let me share with y'all a little bit about what is going on around here. I kind of put a pin in some of my big projects this last year with being pregnant and whatnot. We're through the first 6 months of postpartum, and now it's time to get back to business. So over the next month or so, I'm going to be doing a living room makeover, but I'm also going to be doing a basement makeover. And listen, y'all need to pray for me because that basement is terrifying. Maybe I should just call it like a basement refresh. It's gonna be a complete overhaul, but it's still gonna be a basement. Anyway, as part of that, I wanted to have some beautiful storage for my laundry room stuff. So listen, you can't make laundry room stuff all that cute. You can try to put things in glass jars, but I figured if I could, I would love to bring in a nice antique piece to display all of our laundry room necessities on there. So this baby probably needs a little dusting. I haven't really gotten around to it yet, but here she is. Isn't this so pretty? Look at that wood. I just love it. I'm not 100% sure about this piece back here, if that's original or I don't know. You guys seem to know a lot more about this type of stuff than I do. I just loved that it was all made of these real wooden pieces. I love the shape of it. My favorite type of antiques are antiques that have really nice, clean lines and are not super ornate. You guys know that I am a fan of the primitive style. So even though we live in a Victorian and we've got lots of details in all of our trim work and everything, I honestly prefer this type. I'm gonna bring this downstairs, not in this video, but in my basement makeover video, and I am going to style this baby up with all of our stuff and just try to make it look as cute as possible down there. This is going to have to go behind a door, and so what I was searching for was something really shallow. You guys can see that this is probably only about maybe 6 inches. I love that this could easily, obviously, fit behind a door. It's not like super tall because we've got lots of pipes and stuff that hang down. I can't have it interfering with that. Anyway, y'all, this is gonna look so cute down there. So this beauty wasn't like the cheapest thing in the whole world. I bought it for, gosh, what was it? I think she had it listed for $95 and I offered $75. And she took it, so I was really happy about that. All right, next, you guys may have seen this in our bathroom already. I've been using it for a few months now, but I picked up this really cute kind of over the toilet shelf thing, if you want to call it that. So I'll give you another close look. It has this cute little beadboard in the back. And if I can make an assumption, I would guess that this is a reproduction. And the reason why I say that is because it seems a little bit too intentionally scuffed up. Also, the corners are pretty sharp, and I don't know how to describe it, but if you see this real antique over here, you will notice that with where that just the edges of all the wood, it gets rounded, you know, just a little bit. And these are just really crisp. Also, the wear on it seems a little bit intentional, if that makes sense. None of that matters to me because I bought it anyway. Because I do love the shape of it. Again, it has kind of these simple lines, nothing too ornate. And again, it's shallow, so you guys know how tiny our bathroom is. So it should be able to fit some of like my nice like oils and anything that's like beautiful that I have for bathroom essentials. I would love to display on this. I found this for, I think it was $20 or $25 on Marketplace. The thing about Marketplace is that it's not always the cheapest, but often you can find more specific needs that you have. So like, I don't know if I could just go into a thrift store or an antique store and be able to find something like this. And I knew that I needed this exact piece. So when I found it for 20 or 25, I was like, yes, you know what? If this is gonna solve a need in my life and it only cost me $20, $25, then that's great. Also, I've told you guys in the past, oftentimes I think about what would this piece cost if I were to buy it at Target? And surely this would probably be at least $20 to $25, if not closer to $30 or $40. So to me, it's in the style that I like, even though it's not a perfect antique, and I'm still getting it for a good price. Okay, and you're gonna have to let me know what you think about this find. Y'all, look at the size of this basket. This thing is enormous. It's like literally almost the width of a doorway to give you some kind of like idea of scale. I found this for $25. And I didn't just find one, I didn't just find two, but I found 3 of them. So I'm not gonna lie. This was an example of maybe a bad purchase. Not that these baskets are bad. I mean, look at them. They are antique and absolutely beautiful. This bottom one's a little bit more gray, and then these are a little bit more brown. But y'all, the quality is just amazing. The size is awesome. But y'all, I don't know if I needed 3 of them. Also, getting these in my car, I went to go pick them up with my daughters in the car, and there was hardly any room for my kids. I don't know what I was thinking, picking up baskets that were this size with 4 little girls in our car. It was wild. Anyway, we somehow managed to get them in, and I need some ideas on what to do with these. So at least 2 of these are going to be part of our laundry room basement makeover. So I'm going to be using them as laundry baskets, but probably one of them I could use for something else around the house. So if any of you guys have ideas what you could do with a basket that is this size, I would be really curious to hear what you have to say. Again, I would style these in this video, but because I'm going to be using them in my basement makeover, I'll style them in a future video for y'all. And for my next piece, I just want to give the Lord a shout out. The day that I went to go grab the shelf that I have over here, it was actually in Lincoln, which is quite a ways from us. So I decided to make it a day, and I grabbed Lily. I got a coffee on my way out. I decided to just have like a little mini road trip by myself, almost, with my baby, and then go pick up my Marketplace find, hit a couple thrift stores, and then meet up with a friend from college who still lives there for lunch. It was the best day. But when I went and visited, I was going from thrift store to thrift store, I was asking, like, Lord, there is a specific spot that I would like a new painting, and I would love if I could find that. You know, just putting it out there. Well, I went from thrift store to thrift store, and I didn't find anything. I prayed, I told the Lord, I was like, you know what? That's totally okay. I'm sure that one will turn up somewhere. Well, I went and visited my friend Annie's house. She just moved in a few months back, and she was giving me the tour, and she took me all the way up into her attic. Well, the man that lived there before her had lived there for over 50 years, and he had left some of his items in the attic. Well, while we were up there, I saw in this dark corner, I should have taken a video of it, I saw this painting. I asked Annie, I was like, Annie, what is that painting over there? And she goes, oh, he left like a bunch of old stuff like that. I asked her, I was like, can I go check it out and look at it? So I came over and found this beautiful picture of these dogs in this vintage frame. I don't know, I'm guessing this is an antique. I'm guessing it's probably like a reproduction from like the 60s or 70s or something. But I just thought that it was so pretty. And I asked her, I was like, are you gonna be using that painting? And she was like, no, I was just gonna leave it up here. And so I looked at her and I was like, and she said, do you want it? And I was like, literally, I have been praying for this picture all day long, and I just love how the Lord provides. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to be using this in my basement makeover. I'm actually thinking about maybe replacing another painting that we currently have up with this, and then using the painting that it's replacing to bring down into the makeover downstairs. So this next piece is kind of funny because I literally had this exact same chair. I think I shared with you guys maybe a year or two ago that I decided to upgrade from our IKEA high chair that was like super modern, really basic, like the same one that everybody in the world has. And I really wanted to get a vintage high chair, but I could not find any that were in my price range. It was terrible. So I found one that was kind of from like the 70s, and I used it for Ivy for a lot of the time when we first moved in here. Well, that same summer that I found that high chair, I found this high chair for $5 at a garage sale, and I actually really loved this style the best. However, the one that I found for $5 was missing this piece right here. So it was just the chair. It also had a missing piece on the bottom for their feet to rest. And so I loved it. It was really pretty. I adore this color and this patina. So obviously I had to buy this chair for $5 because, as you can see, it is so beautiful. Like, just the color of it is exactly what I love. But I had to kind of like run the numbers in my head, like, okay, for what we use this for, what is better for our child? And truly, the place that we keep our high chair and everything in our kitchen, we needed to have a tray. So I wound up giving the one like this to my friend Marissa, who actually just had a baby like yesterday, another one. I wound up keeping the one that was like a little bit more like 70s kind of style. Well, I found this one on Marketplace, and I found it for $20. I thought it was so pretty. I feel like the lighting right now on it isn't great. Let's go put it where it belongs so we can see how it's really supposed to look. You guys may have remembered that this is where we've kept our high chair in the past, but since we haven't needed one in a couple years, I just brought over this bench that we use for extra seating. I'm gonna go ahead and put this over by the stove so we can bring the high chair back over. I've never loved how the side of our stove is just like completely exposed. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this here just to give it a little bit of interest over here. These vintage ones don't always have the piece that goes in between your legs to keep the kids from sliding out. Whenever we got our other one with Ivy, she was big enough that she was really strong. She was like a year and a half, I think. And so we didn't have any fears about her sliding out. But with Lily, obviously, she's very little. And even though she can sit up on her own and everything now, there is a possibility that she can slide out. So what I did is I just went onto Amazon and I just bought 2 buckles like this. I slide these through these back like spokes. What do you call these? I don't know. I slide these around these, and then I just buckle her in just like this. And I keep it nice and tight so that there's no way that she is going to be able to slide out in this. So that is my way of making this antique or vintage high chair safe. It might not be the cutest thing in the world, but safety is more important, so we're just gonna go with it. Okay, y'all, and listen, sometimes you make mistakes on Marketplace. So I was on Marketplace recently and I was looking at an item that somebody was selling. I wasn't necessarily interested in the item that they were selling, but I noticed something in the background that looked really familiar. And so I decided to reach out to the seller and ask him, like, hey, I noticed this in the background. Would you mind selling it? What I had seen looked, from the blurry dark picture, much like this. And if you're curious as to what this is, we call this in our family Big Blue. It's a quilt that I bought at the Goodwill long before I ever had this channel. It's probably at least 10 or 12 years old. I bought this blanket for $7 at the thrift store. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, that is so expensive when all the other blankets were like $2. This one was $7, but I loved it. I don't know what it is made out of. I'm guessing it's cotton, but you guys can see that it is so thin, right? And if you look around here on any given star, you can see that I have mended and patched this thing. I'm not exaggerating, probably in 60 different places. It is falling apart, but we love it. It is by far the favorite blanket in our family. Well, I thought that I saw another one of these in the background of this image. And so I asked the guy, I was like, hey, I'm really interested in this blanket. It looks just like our favorite blanket at home. Would you mind if I bought it from you? And he said, yes, absolutely. He drops it off at the church where Josh works. The funny thing about it is that he dropped it off in a giant Louis Vuitton bag, and it was around Christmas time, and Josh fully believed that somebody was dropping him off a surprise gift from Louis Vuitton for Christmas. Lo and behold, to find out that it was actually my marketplace drop off. Anyway, when they dropped it off, it is this. And maybe you can see how I thought it was the same blanket. They both had this star pattern with the blue triangles and the florals and everything, even down to like these have that kind of a gingham pattern. These obviously have a gingham pattern as well. However, you ladies who really have an eye can probably tell that this is a cheap microfiber, polyester, whatever you want to call it, quilt. This is not good quality. The shapes that are on there are not actually sewn on there. They are printed on there, and the quiltiness is just in a regular square pattern across the whole thing. I will say that when I received this, I was so disappointed. I was really hoping that we would be able to not replace this one, but just have another one that is loved, because our girls all fight over this blanket. However, I got this one. It's not like the worst ever. Honestly, I'm thinking that we'll probably just have it be a soccer practice quilt, you know, like something that we bring with us, we keep it in the car, and then we throw it out during soccer practice, and the kids can lay on it and play with toys and just do whatever they want to do. Okay, and then I actually did bring this basket up here. We have always kept all of our toys in this one basket, and it has served us well for a long time, but you can see that it's a little bit small, and so I might just wind up bringing this one up here. Not that we necessarily need that many more toys, but we just have 4 kids now. You know, we started with this one with Rosie when we only had 1 child, and you know, we got more kids, they've got more toys. So I think I'm actually going to wind up putting this basket back where that is, and I'll probably dump all of those toys just into this one and use that one for something else. But the last marketplace find that I wanted to show to you guys was actually this rug, and I'm not going to bring it out since it took me a while to even get it underneath here. You guys may have remembered the video of me like attempting to put this under 2 beds by myself, but I just thought it was really pretty. I found it on Facebook Marketplace for $100. Gosh, it might have even been less than that. But y'all know that when I look for rugs, I try to look for ones that are actually woven, and I love the tassels on the end. So this may be a printed pattern on a woven rug, as opposed to some of the other rugs that are around now that are just fully printed without any like woven texture in them. But I just thought that this was really pretty, especially for the girls' playroom. You can see that there's kind of like a medallion pattern under here. And I just thought that this was really cute, kind of like the pinks and blues. And I thought it would go really well in our playroom. Our girls have been sleeping up here almost every night, so the fact that these beds are made is pretty impressive. But anyway, I thought I would show this to you guys just because I thought it was so pretty, and I love grounding beds with a rug. So even though it's not like the easiest to see, this was another awesome marketplace find that I got this year. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining me on today's marketplace haul video. I actually have another video that I have started planning out about like all of the tips and tricks that I have to find the most beautiful things on Facebook Marketplace, but to also get the best price for them. So I'm going to be putting that out soon. Keep your eye out. If you guys like thrifting videos, marketplace videos, homemaking videos, this is the place for you. I would encourage you to subscribe. It's free. It makes my day and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining me here. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.